So this month we're going to talk about eating and all the different parts of it. So I thought we'd start today with clean eating and what it is. So basically clean eating is anything that is unprocessed. So in other words, if you go to the grocery store, you let's say you go into Walmart, you go at ours, you go to the left. So if you go to the left, you go through produce and all salads and all that stuff on there, and so that's clean foods. So you go around to the meat, it's all hamburger meat, chicken, pork, meat, all that stuff. You keep going around, and you have milk and eggs. Now some of that stuff in the center, is a little more processed, like your hot dogs, your lunch meat, all that kind of stuff. And then you come around your milk, eggs, some of those Greek yogurts, different things like that. So if you look at the perimeter of the grocery store, and this is going to be a case whether it's a Walmart, any grocery store, all your unprocessed foods are going to be on the outside, mainly on the outside of the aisles. So how do you tell if a food's clean, not clean, when you start going up and down the aisles? So the easiest way is if you look on the ingredients and it has 4 or less ingredients. If it has 4 or less ingredients, then it's going to be a good option. So if you look on the cereal aisle, I know here, if you look at the whole cereal aisle, from one end to the other is from, top to shelf to bottom of shelf is cereal. So, all of them are going to have extremely long ingredients, whether it's Frosted Flakes, whether it's Corn Flakes, whatever it is. There's one that Kashi makes it's Kashi Cinnamon Harvest. It has 4 ingredients. It's the only one on the whole shelf that's going to be a clean.
And then oatmeal?
Well, no, that's not necessarily cereal. I'm talking about like a cold.
Okay, because that'd be more grain. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now oatmeal, that's going to of course be a clean one because it's oatmeal. Okay. So really, on oatmeal, the better option is steel cut oatmeal. It's a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of steel cut oatmeal eating wise, but really, is it steel cut or regular oats? Is there going to be one? It's really steel cut's going to be a little bit better, but really, it's not going to make a huge difference in your life whether you have one. So, but the cereals are a great example of a whole aisle that's covered with no good options. No matter what they say, Cheerios, all this kind of stuff, and there's only really 1 or 2 that are going to be the best option. So as you go down other aisles, if you pull up a bag of rice, it's simply just going to be rice. You get a can of tuna fish, it's going to be tuna. You'll go down like some of the breakfast cereal aisles, and it'll say high protein, something like that, and you'll look on the ingredients, and there'll be 10, 20 different ingredients on it. And that's another good thing when it comes to protein bars. Just because it's high protein doesn't mean necessarily it's a good option. It might be high in protein. It might have, let's say, 15 grams, but it may have 20 grams of sugar. So that's not really a good option. A protein bar is going to have high protein. It may have some carbs in it, but it's going to have low sugar. So you want to look for an option that has low sugar in it. Fiber. Fiber is important too. Like Quest bars, they're probably one of the best options for protein bars just because they have like 20 grams of protein. They have, I think, 2 or 3 grams of sugar, 9 grams of fiber, and probably 15, 20 grams of carbs. So overall, that bar is really good because of the high fiber content, low sugar content, but they're going to be a little higher in fat, but that's okay because of everything else that you're not getting in the bar. So just because it's in the nutrition section, just because it's in the cereal aisle, breakfast bars doesn't always mean if it's going to be the best option. So you always want to turn it over, read it on the label. Can you pronounce everything? Is it 4 or less? It's good to go. So that's basically the gist of clean eating. When people get all confused about clean eating, it's really not that difficult. So if you make something, let's say you make chili. So if you buy black beans, you buy brown or white rice. Again, brown or white, it's not going to make a huge difference in your life. You're not going to say, I can tell a big difference because I would switch to brown rice versus white rice. It's not good. Now, what's the difference between those? White rice is a fast digesting carb. Brown rice is slow digesting. Slow digesting will give you more leveled energy. Fast digesting, you're going to come up and then back down. But really, you're not going to notice a big difference. So you make chili, you can really make clean chili because you get rice, you get black beans, you get some kind of ground beef put together. You have pretty much a clean meal. It depends on what sauces you put, sodium-wise and all that. So it's very easy to combine different ingredients to make a clean meal. So the more you can stay away from the boxed stuff that just dump it out, mix in some meat, then you want to stay away from those. So clean food, like I said, cook. One of the big things is cook your own food. Cook it, take it with you, whatever it is. For me, the food I eat during the day is all meal prepped, even my breakfast and all that is all. Now my breakfast, I have tortillas, low carb tortillas. It's really about the only thing that's processed in my day. The rest is all, cooked individually and put together. So, also, and I'm bad about this, but eat balanced meals. So it has a protein in it, it has a carb in it. When we talk about carbs, and we're going to talk about that next week too, about macros. In other words, how many grams of, or how many calories are in a gram of protein, a gram of carb, fat, all that. We're going to kind of talk about that next week. But when your carbs, you might have a protein, which might be some sort of meat, whether it's chicken, fish, pork, something like that. Then you might have several carbs on your plate. It might be a complex carb, which would be, let's say, just easy for rice. Might be a fibrous carb, which is your vegetables. And you might even add a fat in there, which would be just some olive oil or something like that you add onto that. So, but we're going to talk more about that next week and about when all those are the right timing for those. I'm not a big vegetable person, so I mean during my day I don't eat any vegetables, so it's not very, I just don't like them, so I mean that's just the way it is. So, and you really want to limit the add-on things like sugar and fats and all those things that salt. You don't want to have your meal and then you just douse it with salt, because then you increase your sodium intake. And those are really the big things when you're clean eating. Is if you're eating clean, you won't have to worry about your sodium or sugar. If you and you can look at all the labels that are clean foods. If you look on the back of them, their sugars are super low. So basically, all the foods I eat in a day, I'm anywhere from 45 to 50 grams of sugar for a day. Where you
Is that what's recommended?
It just depends. Women might be around 25, 30, just only because they're eating less caloric intake. The higher your caloric intake gets, of course, that's just naturally going to go up. Because you think about it, like probably the most sugar mine comes from are my tortillas, low carb tortillas, and I have a couple bananas every day. So those are higher in natural sugar. So that's where the bulk of my sugar comes from. If I took out the bananas, then mine would even be lower. So if you watch your sugars and sodium, which you really won't have to do if you're eating clean foods, those are the biggest things. You see things that's reduced fat, low fat. You don't want to ever get anything that says reduced fat, low fat, because there's other things in there that are making it reduced or low fat that you don't need. So if you're eating clean food, you're never going to be able to, it's easy to eat a McDonald's hamburger and easily get a lot of calories. Whereas if you were to, 500 calories of clean foods compared to that of the hamburger, you're going to be able to eat a whole lot more and probably not even be able to finish that 500 calories versus the quick little hamburger, which is going to have, just a fraction of the sugar in it versus the hamburger, which is way high. So really those aren't even things you really have to worry about if you are eating a clean diet, and you're not eating, fruit at every
That's
day.
what I asked. Do you have to worry about the sugars in the fruits?
I limit those depending on what your activity level is that day, because a banana is a quick digesting carb. It's a simple carb. So basically, let's say if I'm gonna go work out, I might have a banana because it's going to spike my energy level and it's going to drop back off. There's really no sustained energy from your fruits. You're not really, where a sweet potato is going to stick with you and last a lot longer energy wise. So you're going in a flat versus your fruits. So some of the programs out there, fruits are you can have as much as you want. But they still, a banana is still 105 calories, an apple is still 65, 70 calories, an orange still has calories. All those still have calories and they all have sugars. So you just keep ramping up your sugars, which when losing weight and watching what you're eating, you want to reduce those sugars are the biggest part. Definitely limit all your sugars, salts, and fats. Now, fats as in your bad fats. You want, good healthy fats, avocados, nuts, olive oil, things like that are great. So they actually help increase your caloric intake. They help satisfy you longer. So in other words, if you're taking in a little fewer carbs, you increase your healthy fats, and that will help maintain your energy level. So that might be a good idea is nuts at lunch. Just because it may be a little easier to eat and then give you more energy, or mid-morning before it gets too hot, it kind of gives you some energy throughout the day. It can be cashews, walnuts, macadamia nuts, those kind of things. So, there's recommendations too, and everybody's a little different. You always hear eat 5 or 6 small meals a day. So why is it that they would suggest eat 5 or 6 meals a day? Because you also hear, you can intermittent fasting, and that's a good thing too. So how can 5 to 6 meals a day and intermittent fasting both be good? So 5 to 6 meals a day is generally the recommendation. And meals as in you might have lunch, dinner, and breakfast, and you might have a couple snacks. They kind of consider that as a meal. But what basically happens is when you eat, your metabolism speeds up real fast to work off what you just ate. So the thought behind that is, as it's starting to slow down, if I eat breakfast at 7 o'clock, I'm going to eat probably lunch at 12, 1 o'clock. So I might have a snack about 10 o'clock. So I've eaten breakfast at 7 o'clock, my metabolism revved up. About 10 o'clock, it's starting to slow back down. I eat again, a little snack, 100 to 200 calories. Now it revs back up. So then at lunchtime, it's starting to slow down again. I eat again, it revs back up. So the thought is that all day long, your metabolism is constantly revving all day long. So, and I do that. I do eat 5 to 6 times a day. 1, 2, 3, 6 times a day. So, and so, especially when you're wanting to watch what you try to lose a few pounds, and you like to eat, then you only have to wait, 3 max 4 hours to eat again. Then you get another little snack. So, like when I eat supper, it might be 7, 8 o'clock. I eat supper, and I get excited because I know in about an hour I'm going to have a snack again for supper or before I go to bed. So, I'll eat less at supper because I think, I'm not going to get to eat breakfast. Well, you're going to get to eat just a little bit, have a snack. So, but it's really about what works best for you, like we've talked about before, whatever fits your lifestyle. If that's intermittent fasting, that's you go 6, 8, 12 hours, 16 hours without eating. And then break the fast and eat. There's also great research behind that, but that also is very effective. So both have their benefits, just to find out what works for you. So intermittent fasting might work great for you if you, eat breakfast and it's super early, then you don't eat for maybe 12 hours, then you break that fast and then eat again. So, you might do a sort of intermittent fasting, not really on purpose, but when it's hot, it might work. And then one of the big things is, with clean eating is you don't want to drink your calories. So, and that's as simple as if you have coffee, is it black or is it, you have all this creamer, with your coffee. Then you took pretty good black coffee's not a problem, but then you've added all this stuff in it, sugar and all this stuff, to make it yummy, and now it's not so great. Same thing with even Gatorade. You know, and unless you're outside extended period of time, really sweating, need to replace those electrolytes. You know, if a kid's, you know, I've seen, you know, kids going to tumbling and they're there for 45 minutes and they're bringing Gatorade. They don't need Gatorade. You know, a water's gonna be just fine. Now for me, you know, talking about drinking calories, I do drink a protein shake every day just because I can't eat enough to get in my protein. So I have a protein shake, which, you know, I get for protein, but it's also a couple hundred calories, but it also gets the protein I need versus having a steak that, you know, I might get 50 grams of protein, but, you know, I've taken in 500-600 calories along with the fat and all that I don't really want. So, you know, you don't want to drink the sugary drinks or anything that has a lot of calories in it too, because, I mean, you're going to feel a lot different if you drink, you know, let's say you're on a 1,500 calorie diet, you drink 500 of those in different things, you know, you're not eating, so now you're hungry, you're more hungry, and then you're going to eat more, so you're going to eat over your 1,000 calories, so you want to avoid drinking those calories. So that's, I mean, that's the basics of clean eating. You know, it's when you look at the whole, it's pretty simple. Less than 4 ingredients. You know, don't drink your calories. Don't add salt, sugar. Keep all those low. Look at the perimeter of the grocery store, of any grocery store. Read the labels. Be informed. Don't trust that it's low, you know, if it says low fat or healthy, high protein, low carb. Don't trust any of that, and, you know, read what's on there to make sure that in fact it fits within your clean eating program. So